Hello, this is Jilly from Jilly's Creative Corner. As you can see, I'm going to be doing something different from my normal flowers. My other great love is my dogs. This was a suite in the annual catalogue from last year. It finishes at the end of April. So this paper is still available. It's probably on the retirement list, so you might get a deal on that. It does come with a stamp set. So I've made this one out of just the designer series paper that comes as part of the suite. I've hand cut out the dogs here and the little balls, and then inside I've cut out some other of the dogs. For the one I'm going to do on the video, I'm going to do the cats. I don't have any cats, but I do have a lot of friends that have cats, so I know they are just as loved as dogs are. So it isn't a bundle, you can buy them separately. So the stamp set is going into next year's catalogue, which comes out at the end of June. And this is the dies. They will also be in next year's catalogue at the end of June. The paper, however, that I've used today, that will not be carrying over into the next catalogue. But I thought that as a change, I would make a card that didn't need very much stamping. All I've had to stamp on this is the happy birthday. So this half of the pack is for dogs. So you've got your dog bowls, collars, bones on there, which is what I used for the top bit there. On the flip side of that is words, which is what I've used here. And there's enough room for you to cut them down so that you can use it in lines like I have here. And then there's those dogs, which is the ones I've used here, was one of those, and the balls, and that one there. And then the ones I've used inside, again I used off here, which is that one there and that one there again. So he's so cheeky, isn't he? However, they also have this one. So you've got your little sausage dog and your little dog with a little bow. So you've got all sorts of different dogs on these papers that are easy to cut out. If you had the framelets, I know the framelit will cut out this little guy here, but they're very easy to cut out. So that's the dog ones. As I said, today I'm going to use the cat ones. You get all those cats there. And those, this is where I've cut them out. I've pre-cut them so you don't have to watch me doing it on the video. And on the flip side it's a bit like whiskers, isn't it? And there, and it's fish and hearts on there. And then again you've got the little bowls with your fish hooks and your and you've got words in there. So half the packs for the cats in your life and half the packs for dogs in your life. And I'm going to show you how to do, so I've done a little pleated fold on for this bit here, just to add a bit of interest, a bit of texture to the cards. So I'm going to show you how to do that. This card I'm going to do in cinnamon cider. That's the in colours from last year, so June 2022 is when they finish. So your card base is going to be 5 inches wide by 10 inches long, scored at 5 inches in the middle, and that makes your base card there. So your inside bit, because it's coloured cardstock, you pop an inside bit in so you've got somewhere to write, and that's going to be 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, so that's going to pop in there. Now for this pleating bit here, so you need a piece of pattern paper, and it measures 11 inches by 3 inches. So that is for that pleat piece there. And then everything else you need, I've just cut out. So I've cut out some of the cats out of the paper. I've cut out one of the bowls. This piece here that's going to go across the top here, across there, is 2 inches by 5 inches. And then one of the words that's going to go across the middle there is 5 inches by ½ inch. And then I've done an 1/8 of an inch, and that's just to go across the top there, just to give it a bit, something a bit different than just having it plain at the top. And everything else I've just cut out. What I've done here, for these ones on the front, for these ones here, just the front two, not the back two, that I've just cut those out and stuck those straight onto the paper, because we don't need them to be very strong, because they're actually on the flat of the card that you're going to write on. But I wanted these to be a little bit stronger than paper. So what I've done is I've cut them out of the paper, and then I've stuck them onto a piece of basic white, and then I'm just going to cut round them, and it makes them much stronger. And those are the ones that are going to sit on the front there and there. So I just wanted to show you how to make it stronger. This has got a bit more substance to it. Okay, so I've gone ahead now and cut Mrs. Cat out. She looks quite snooty, doesn't she? I think she looks quite cross and she looks quite snooty. So that's my cats all cut out, ready. I've got a little cat bowl there ready. And these little bits of words here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop this all to one side and just show you how to do the pleat. So you need a piece of patterned paper, 11 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. Now, because it's pattern paper as opposed to cardstock, I'm going to bring in the fatter side so it's not so harsh on the, and I'm not going to dig right down on it. So this is the score line. So this paper here comes from the Good Taste DSP, and this is going over into the next catalogue. So it's very versatile paper. It's got all sorts of, like, they look it looks like texture, but it's very, very smooth, but it looks like you've got a lot of texture. So you are going to come in and you're going to start at the 1.5 line, and you're going to score at 1.5. So the next line you're going to score at is 2. So that is ½ an inch more. And then from 2 you're going to score at 3, which is 1 inch. And then you're going ½ an inch again at 3.5. Then you're going 1 inch again at 4.5. Then you're going ½ an inch again, that would be 5. 1 inch again, that would be 6. Then 6.5. Then 7.5. Then 8. Then 9. And then 9.5. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, you can see it on the flip side. So you've got 1.5 there, and then you've got a 1/2 inch one, a 1 inch one, a 1/2 inch one, 1 inch, half, one, half, one, half, one, half, and then this side is 1.5 again. So you've got level on each side. So what you're going to do now is you need to bring in a ruler. You need to, from this side here, you need to go from the bottom up and just do a little pencil mark at 1.5. So you've got half there, 1.5 is there, and do exactly the same this side. So you put your 1/2 inch, 1.5 there, and just make a little mark there. And then you want to bring your ruler along here, and you want to put a mark on your 6 inch. So that's your 6 inch and your 5 inch. So there's your 5 inch score line, and there's your 6 inch score line. That one's there. So then what you want to do is from your middle inch there, you want to just fold that because you want it to, let's grab a bone folder. So make sure it's level there and there, and then with this one, so at the moment you're just doing those two. So then I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and you're going to put this in your trimmer, and you want to go from that 1.5 mark there that you put there, you're going to put that in your cutting groove, and you're coming down to your 6 inch one there. So you're going to put that down and slice it up. So you've got that. Then you're going to go from your so there's your 5 inch one there, and you're going to put this one, so this 1.5 inch mark there on that side, and you're going to put that in the middle of your cutting line, and then the 5 inch one in there, pop this down and cut that off. So you're now left with that. So that's left alone in the middle. And those two you've cut off. So you know that you want that to be your middle one. So then going away from this middle one, that's your mountain. You want this one, this half one next to it, to be your valley. So again, make sure that you've got it so it's like that, and then your 1 inch one, that's going to be a mountain. Again, make sure it's level. So then you are like that. Then your 1/2 inch one is a valley. So all the way along from the middle out to the sides, you're going mountain, valley, mountain, valley. This is your inch one. inch one. So this is your one side, so this is your front piece, which is that piece there. So that stays like that, so that's under, 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 under. So that is that side. And now you're going back the other way. So this is your mountain. This one next to it is going to be your valley. So just straighten that out. Make sure you've got it level. And then your mountain again. Your inch one is your mountain. We're going to do that all the way along. So now you have that one. And you're going to just so that is your bit like that. That's this bit here. Okay, so what you want to do now, that is what it looks like on the back. So push it all together like so. I bring in a block, my H block, and just to hold it down so that all holds together, and then come in with a line of tape and just run a line of tape along the top. So then you've got that like that. Then bring in your base card. I'm going to have mine so it stands up like that. So I'm going to bring that in. I've bone folded it in half. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take the backing of this tape here. But I want this to be, at the bottom. So before I let go of it, I want that to be flush to the bottom of the card. But I want it to be level, so I'm not going to let go of it until I see that's level. And that's level. So now you have, that's on your card and that's tight on there. If you have any overhanging, got a tiny bit there, just bring in your scissors, and such a small amount there. Probably wouldn't have even noticed it, but I'm just a bit fussy. So there is your fold. I guess you could just stick some glue or something in there, but I just like the movement of it. I like that it moves. And we're going to be popping our snooty cat down there. I'm going to be putting her down there, and this is the snooty one, I think. Yeah, so Mrs. Snooty Cat is going to walk along there, and then I'm going to put the little bowl on the bottom there. All this was cut out of the paper. So then what I'm going to do first of all is bring in this piece, which measured 2 inches by 5 inches. I'm going to pop it down on there. It doesn't matter so much if it's not completely tight there, because we're going to be putting this piece over the join. So you're not going to see the join there. If it's overhanging, you need to trim a bit off, but it can be like that with a little tiny gap there. So then I'll just bring in my liquid glue. I put liquid glue on this bit because it gives us some movability on there. So as I said, you can see it's a little bit over there, but that's okay because I can just cut that off. And then I am going to put a bit of tape on this one because it's got to go over these layers. So I'm just going to pop a piece of tape. Make sure you've got your words up the right way. That might be a bit of a disaster. Not really, because you could just stick another piece over the top, but ideally. There you go. So there's your words there. I'm just going to get rid of this little end bit here. Tiny bit there. I'd rather make it a little bit too big and be able to just cut the side off than it too short and then it looks, there's gaps everywhere. So, and with this bit, because it's just flat on there, I am just going to run a little line. Not too much, you don't want it all squirting out. Go along there. Let's take that tiny bit off there. There you go. So that's those two bits done there. This is such a quick, easy card. Probably the most time consuming is just cutting the little animals out. But they look so cute when you have cut them out. So I'm going to pop that on there. So what I want to do is, if I tuck her whiskers, because that's probably the most fragile bit. If I tuck her whiskers just going under there, then they're not going to keep getting hit. So I'm going to put a dimensional on her bottom, that bit there. And there. And one in there. See how she stands. So she stands, and then this bit I'm going to put some, because it's all raised up, I'm going to put some liquid glue on these bits here. Then just take off the backing of the dimensional. Put the whiskers under there so they don't get hit. And there's the first Mrs. Snooty Cat. And then she looks like she's sulking. I'm not quite sure about her. She doesn't look impressed though, does she? So with her, I'm going to put the dimensionals on the bottom half of her. See how she goes, like that. And she can have some glue on her, near her head. Take the dimensionals off. Mustn't forget that bit. And now I think I'm going to just pop yeah, just pop a little bit of liquid glue on the back. So there's that bit of the card done. No stamping, just fussy cutting at the moment. And then what we're going to do is just pop that to one side to let that dry. And then I'm going to bring in, so this is the 4 3/4 by 4 3/4 piece. This is going inside the card for you to write on, but I'm just, instead of having it plain, I'm going to pop a couple of these. I think I've got, I think I cut out 3. Yes, I did. So she looks a bit cheeky, doesn't she? Just pop those down like that. But I'm just going to put those on with liquid glue. And these were literally just cut out from the paper. I haven't backed those with the white because it's going straight onto here. It doesn't need to be raised at all. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on. And put her there. Mrs. having a bath, I think she is. I'm just being very careful how much glue comes out because I don't want it squishing out everywhere because then it will stick the card, the inside to the outside. Just pop her there, and then this little one. I'm going to bring in Peaceful Moments. This is the stamps that I used last week actually, which is this one here. So I'm going to, and to do a little sentiment inside, which is what I did here. May your birthday be memorable. So that one was, so this one here, may your birthday be memorable, I got from this stamp set here, Timeless Tropical. This one is going into next year's catalogue as well. So, you know, it's got my favourite things, flowers again, but again it's got thank you, hello, a lovely little verse for your birthday. Our friendship is timeless. Rest and relax, you deserve it. It's got some nice sentiments, nice flowers, palm trees, pineapple. So I'm going to use that stamp for inside the card and this stamp for outside the card. And another new thing that came out in the mini catalogue is the double oval punch, which is fantastic. So you've got a crinkle edge one, which is this one here, and then a plain edge that fits inside, so this one here. And this is the crinkle one by itself there. So I will. So if like me, you've stuck your animals, or you've already say stamped in your bottom, and you think, oh, I don't know if I don't want to ruin that by stamping straight on. So what I suggest you do is what I'm going to do. Get a scrap piece of basic white, and I'm going to use on this one, I'm going to use the same as the cardstock, which is cinnamon cider. So I will just come in and stamp. First of all, this one, may your birthday be memorable. Around it to bring in my punch. Where is it? So I'm going to bring in my punch, line it up with this. I want this one on this because it's going inside. There's one. And then I want this one. Again, I'm going to do it in cinnamon cider. Don't be tempted to put it, if you're going to use a punch, don't be tempted to put it too low down, because you have to remember that the punch, you want your words centered in the punch. So if you've got it right down here, you've got no room. So leave yourself room for the punch to come in. Now this is going to punch out another one of those that had I thought about it, I could have punched that out and then stamped this afterwards, but I'd already done it. But don't throw that away, this could be useful for another card on another day. I'm actually just going to bring in a bit of cardstock on the cinnamon cider, and so I'm going to have that on there, which will go on here, and then this one's going to go inside, but I'm just going to sponge the edges. This is the cinnamon cider dauber that I use. I've put the name on it so I don't cross-contaminate with another ink. Just ink it up. Of course, you do not have to sponge your edges. I just think I like it. It just softens the basic white paper, so it's not so stark. So I do like to do it. I don't do it all the time, but I do it quite often. Just, as I said, it just takes the edge off the basic white so it's not so stark. So I'm just going to now put a bit of liquid glue on the back of this one and stick it down to this on here so it's got like a backing. Just give it an even border. And then I'm going to glue this one straight down into here, and it gives me some wriggle room. Roughly the middle. And then we are going to bring in this one. I was level it up in my grid paper, put a bit of liquid glue on there, pop it there, right in the middle, and then put a line of liquid glue. Pop this on there. And there you have your finished card. Now I guess if you wanted to, you could stick that down to there. I quite like that it's got movement. It almost makes it look like the cats are hiding from each other. So I quite like it that it's sticking out. And when it stands up, it's tricky for you to see, but when it stands up, it really looks like the cats are just hiding behind a pillar and the food's in the middle. So I quite like that it is sticking out. But if you didn't like that, you could just put a bit of glue on the bottom there and stick it to the bottom of your card so it was flat. But I quite like the idea that they're hiding from each other. We actually have 2 Labradors. We have a chocolate one called Gracie and a fox red one called Maisie. And when they were younger, Maisie would eat her food as fast as possible and then go and try and get Gracie's. And Gracie is so polite that she would almost step aside and let her do it. So we ended up having to separate them to eat. And now Gracie goes in the hall and eats. And if any of us go out there and disturb her, she stops eating until we move. She's such a funny dog. So yeah, I do like the idea that on this one the cat's hiding behind a pillar, and on this one this naughty dog is trying to grab all the balls and he's hiding his. So it's just my imagination, and that's what card making and creativity is all about, isn't it? It's your imagination and how you see things. So I hope you like this project. It is different from what I normally make, but I enjoyed doing it, and just apart from the happy birthday and the greeting inside, it just shows that if you've got some really cool papers, you don't even, and glue obviously, you don't even need to have stamps all the time. I know that two friends of mine, they go on holiday and they take they literally craft. They usually do their Christmas cards, but they take quite a lot of stuff with them. But if you don't have room, you could just have took the paper and some glues and cardstock, and you're well away, because you can create a whole card with a couple of stamp sets, and you've got a lovely card. So I really hope you like this project. It'd be great if you could subscribe to my channel, and also if you make any cards of your own, it'd be great for you to share share your inspiration with the rest of us. That's one thing that's fabulous about creating cards and creativity. It's nice to share, and it'd be great to see some pictures. So either put it in the comments or go to my Facebook page, Jilly's Creative Corner, and pop some pictures on there. It'd be fantastic. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.